Alright, what's up you guys? This is Janos with Trading Spies, and today I want to do a little bit different episode. Instead of a recap, I want to tell you guys how to actually open a small account and how to trade with the small account, because unfortunately it's so difficult to do it when it has such a bad influence over the internet. It's very difficult to see when you guys comparing yourself, and it's me too. So I'm falling into this category too. When you compare yourself to other traders, right, you see such a big numbers, everybody's so profitable, everybody's a millionaire, right? So inevitably you compare yourself, your how you did on the market, you did as well as others did on the market, and it's very difficult to leave all these aside. But the problem is when a new trader starts from the get-go falling into this trap, basically, to compare with the traders who's showing so much profit. But unfortunately it's two-way to look at this thing, right? One of them is they putting out these huge numbers, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. They're not even showing any proof of the actual trades, right? And then basically what happens is they just gonna try to lure you into some sort of course, right? Some sort of fake course, some sort of wannabe millionaire course, right? And the other end of it, they actually have profitable traders who make this much money on the market every single day, because it's achievable, I know. So but the problem is, if you try to compare yourself to those traders who's putting up the tens of thousands of dollars, you mistakenly not considering the part that these people has years and years of experience already, so much more education behind them. And also, let's not forget, the point is, when you see these huge numbers, those trades are coming out of a trade size what your small account cannot handle, right? So in one single trade can go in tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars, to put up those big numbers for you. And yet you guys come onto the market, not all of you, but a lot of people come onto the market with false expectation to achieve those numbers with the small account. It's impossible. It's not gonna happen. Just because some fake gurus sold you a 3-hour course and then promise everything it comes with it, but it's just, that's not reality. I know it's achievable, but the package as they selling it to you guys, that's what I have a problem with. And this is the reason why I opened my account, to try to channel the reality, right? The reality into the small traders mindset, because I was one time, as all the traders, in a new trader shoes, right? Don't know what to do, no knowledge about anything, and try to figure it out the way, depend on someone to tell me what is right and what is wrong. But unfortunately in the in the today's environment, everything is so oversized, right? The profit, the cars, the watches, the money, and is distorting the reality how it's supposed to be. Like with everything in your life, you go to school, you study, you learn, you put the years of education first, right? You cannot be a doctor, you cannot be a lawyer, you cannot be yet even a plumber or an electrician, not just to compare, the levels, but the problem is this is the most important thing what we forget, and especially the most important step what everybody's missing. So as you guys starting with the small account, probably a few $1,000 account, as I did too, and that's why I started my small account challenge per se, to show you guys how it can be done, right? We don't need, and especially in the beginning when we have no experience, tens and tens of thousands of dollars on the account, because that just gonna get blown out of the water right away. You can get lucky, right? Same thing, you go to Vegas, you can get lucky once or twice, but end of the day, if you're playing so long and you don't know when to stop, you're gonna go home with empty pockets, right? So yeah, let's get back to what I'm trying to do this episode about. And what I mentioned already, the education, and unfortunately that is the hardest part, because it's so many fake gurus out there who never even entered onto the market for a second. They come up with a strategy, they come up with a fake course what they try to sell for a bunch of money, and on the screen it looks excellent, right? Because you can show this is where you buy, that's where you sell, you made $10,000 a day, excellent, right? It's that easy, but it's very, very hard. Trading is the hardest easy job what you ever gonna have, because it has an element to it, a mental element what so many people just cannot get over. Even if you study, even if you learn, that aspect of it is a lot. So you have to be prepared mentally of the trading. But first of all, you have to be book smart, right? You have to understand the basic concepts of the market. You have to understand what is the candlestick about. You have to understand the way the candles move, the size of it, the wick of it. You have to understand patterns, the indicators. You have to learn them. You have to know what is the reason as it moves, what is the reason it goes up, it comes down, what is the support levels, what is the trend lines. All these you have to be book smart first. You just cannot enter onto the market just because, again, you bought a 3 hours fake course and then you think the next day you're gonna be such a profitable trader. It's just not gonna happen. Maybe you're gonna get lucky, but even that would be worst if you get lucky, because then you're gonna get a false hope of how easy it is, because it can be, right? Well, actually it never easy, but once you see how much money can be made, how quickly, then when you see how much money can be made that quickly, then you realize is very, very easy to get hooked. And that is the difficult part, to give up. And that's when the false hopes or starts. So the first is the education. I learned on YouTube, I learned from these guys. Also, I have a mentor who I consider as my mentor. He's trading completely different way as I do, but it was very, very helpful for education purposes for me to really show what's need to be done. And I won't say I took it with a grain of salt, but I have my common sense, right? As most of us should have a common sense. I know, unfortunately, in the today's world is like a superpower, right? But yeah, we just have to figure it out on our own if what they telling us, telling me, telling you is has truth behind it, or is just a bull of crap, right? Um, Second, you have to have a system. You have to, once you have the education, once you learned, you have to build a system. You have to build a system what you think is gonna be profitable system. In this case already, because you have the education, you already can build experiment, not on the real market, not with real money. You just go look at the charts, you do your back test if this is works or not. You don't need to be on the market to find out if it works or not. You can do that on the charts purely if your idea works. Next, you need a computer. Me personally, I'm day trading, so I need a very fast computer because the execution is key when you day trading. You know, sometimes you see 6, 8, 10 monitors for the guys on the internet, but really you don't need that much. It's just gonna be so distracting, especially in the beginning when you try to focus. It's just gonna be very, very difficult for you to concentrate on your plan, what you planning to do, if you constantly have to take your focus off and look at 6, 8 monitors. You don't need it. In my point of view, what is the best, definitely you need 2, but preferably 3. And the reason why is, on 2 you need charts, and on 1 constantly need your trading platform. Because if you have everything on 1 screen, even on 2 screen, it's difficult because you have to go back and forth switching between the 2. You're not gonna be able to see your chart, even if you see your chart is very small, if you concentrate everything onto 1 screen. So that's why 2 for sure, 3 preferably. And also we just get to the platforms, we get to the brokers. Me personally, as you guys can see, on my trading episodes, I'm using for the charting software, I'm using the TOS platform from TD Ameritrade. In my personal perspective, this is the best. You basically get the real time data, so anytime you enter or open your chart, basically is showing you the real time, no lagging data, and it comes free. So that's very, very good. And it's so much built into the software, strategy wise, indicator wise, and just the layout. You can learn it. Also you can trade with the platform, depending on your strategy, what you planning to trade and how you planning to trade it. For me, the actual trade platform side of it is not suitable, so for that I'm using Webull and I'm using interactive brokers. And the difference between the two, interactive brokers is a fast platform. For me, I traded there for about a year, but the commission is just so high compared to others, right? It's a lot of platforms now free, so they don't charge any commission for the trades, for the entries. But when you trade options, and that's what I do, I trade options. For the options, usually they still do charge, they still do charge commission for the contracts itself, and also the transaction fees, the regulatory fees from the exchanges. And the exchange fees is not a lot, but if they charge you for the commissions per contract, that can be not significant, but usually it's 65 cents per contract, right? On TD Ameritrade platform, on E-Trade platform. If you go to interactive brokers is much faster execution than the ones what I mentioned, but interactive brokers is expensive. A round trip on one contract, it can be $2, $2.50. My main problem is with the platform is the charges are not consistent. Every single time is different. Every single time, every single day is no consistency. You don't know if you're gonna pay $5 per trade or $10 per trade. Well, you know, it's not that drastic of a difference, but still, you have a difference. And my other issue with the platform is when you place a trade, at least for me, it always sounded as a partial fill. So it never actually indicating as you filled right away, right? So it's in your mind, what you have is you try to enter with 10 contract and it's partial fill if you have five contract, if you have 10 contract, if what happened. So you have to take your focus away from your screen just to see what's going on, and this was constant every single trade. So basically what happened is I opened Webull platform, and with Webull I have no issue. For me, this is the perfect combination for the actual execution of my trade is Webull, and my charting is TD Ameritrade. So right now I think I find the concept, not the concept, but I find the build how I need to trade. I'm doing it roughly a year now, and I'm very satisfied with it. Plus the commission per contracts on the option contracts on Webull is 5, 6, 7 cents, not dollars, cents. And when you trade 10, 20, 50, 100 contracts, then it's make a huge difference on a weekly level. The next important thing is the internet, right? With the internet, in the beginning, I had a lot of issues, and the main problem is when you don't have a fast internet, your basically everything is gonna lag. And the lag, even if we're just talking about, you know, seconds, half a second, because it has latency and everything, then basically you're not gonna get filled. Even if your idea is right and the chart showing you the right thing, you wanna execute right, but in reality the price in real time is already moved away from you, so you're not gonna get filled. And this was the main issue for me with TD Ameritrade platform for trading, for the actual trading, is as a day trader, you want to execute fast. You want to be in the trade fast. You want to be out of the trade fast. But with TD Ameritrade is a very, very lagging, and to me it wasn't performing well to have everything in the same company, right? The platform and the charting. So that was another reason also why I chose Webull and Interactive Brokers initially, and then Webull after, because I traded with TD Ameritrade platform for a long time, and one day I just had enough. I couldn't take it anymore, so I looked for another broker. The other is the internet. It's exactly same thing. If you're not gonna get filled, it worth to pay an extra $10-20 for a fast internet package, so you're not gonna have issues like that. And also, imagine you are in a trade and your internet just goes away for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. You know, might is nothing gonna happen with the trade itself, but your mind is already gonna get scrambled, and you're not gonna be able to focus and pull it back at the same moment. So it's very, very difficult to constantly concentrate on the market, on the candles, on the movements, on the plan, and you just don't need these easily avoidable side problems be in your mind. The what ifs, right, is always difficult. So far we talk about the education, right? We talk about the fake gurus, we talk about the platforms, we talk about the computers, the screen sizes. With actual trading, I don't want to get into actual breakdowns and actual trade concepts. That's gonna be in another video. But you have to trade smart. You have to trade small. You just cannot jump in anything what moves. You cannot give into FOMO. And also my suggestion, when you guys start to trade, read also books about how you can strengthen your mental awareness, not just general trading, but on everything, because that is very, very helpful on the actual days when you have difficulty, because not every day is just straight up, straight down. You enter into the market, you exit the market, you made your daily profit, and you're done. So that's very, very helpful. Also, you guys has to set a realistic goals for your trading account size, right? So if you have a $2,000-3,000 trading account, don't expect to make tens of thousands of dollars a day. You have to be in a reality. What is the expectation? If you make a goal of $100-200 a day, which is, I think, with the couple $1,000 account, is achievable constantly. And when you have a small account, really the small account itself is basically for a proof of concept, right? When you have a small account, when you are new, when you have your new strategy, that's how you can really make sure your strategy is profitable. First, you don't need to look at the money. Do not look at the money at the beginning of your journey. You want to be sure about your trading platform. You want to be sure about your plan. You want to make sure your plan is profitable. It's going to produce the money when you step up, when you raise your contracts, when you raise your share sizes, because to make the money is really, that's what it is. You're not changing the proof of concept of your plan of your trade. You just only raising your share sizes, right? That's all it is. If you traded 10 contracts, you made 10 cents, that's $100, right? If you're trading 20 contracts, you're still making 10 cents, that's gonna be 200. If you're trading with 50 contracts, you're making the same 10 cents. That original $100, in this case, it's becoming $500, and you didn't do anything else. The concept of your trade is exactly the same. You just raised the share sizes, and that's all you need to do. You don't need magic to change everything all the time. You just have to stick to your plan, what you build it in the beginning of your journey. And that's why it's so important to start small and not to give in this crazy hypeness what you can see on the market. Because if you give in and your mindset is not there in the beginning, especially when you have basically no idea, no screen time, no proof of concept, it's gonna be very, very difficult for you to achieve success. And I think that's why so many traders fail on the market, because they come into the market with unrealistic expectation. And that's end of the day is the trader fault, right? Because they didn't made the proper study, didn't made a proper build. You cannot say, oh, this guru told me this, that guru told me that. End of the day, you're gonna be the one who's pushing the buttons, right? And unfortunately, this is a very addicting game. It can be a very addicting game, especially if you had luck in the beginning, and if you made big wins in the beginning. Because in the beginning is, doesn't matter who say what, is just luck, because you didn't know what you did. You didn't know you had a profitable plan. So that's why it's important to build a plan. And back to the share sizes, back to the goals. Just be realistic. Once you reach the goal, you just have to close your system and leave. And if you remember, I told you this in the beginning. If you stay long enough on the market, eventually you're gonna give it back. Because unfortunately, just for a lot of people, this is how the market works. You have to be aware. Once you have money, and especially on the green account, you need to build it. You cannot wait for the Hail Mary passes and on one trade try to make the whole month plan. Is just not gonna happen. Step by step. And as you're building your account, you're building your confidence with it. You're building your confidence with your plan. You're adding screen time to your trades. And once you do that, you're gonna have a feeling for the market itself in general, how it moves. And then another step coming in, right, is you don't need to be a jack of all trades. You just need to know one thing well. one strategy well, and that one strategy, if it's profitable, that can serve you every single day on the market, because the market is not changing. You just have to be aware what's happening around you and know when to quit, know when your stops are hit. Very, very important concept, because on the market you can do only two things, right? Either you give profit back or you leave money on the table. But what is the preferable choice? I think for a lot of profitable traders, and if you know listen to the episodes, you will find out most of them prefer to leave money on the table, right? They make their profit, they go with the plan, but the most important thing for them is to know when to stop. And that's what the new traders don't. They just want to be on the market constantly. And again, if you stay long enough, you will give your profit back. Just exactly the same way as you in the casino. If you stay long enough, you're gonna go home with an empty pocket. And the same concept true over here. Also, one thing is worth to mention, and I think over here I have a little different thinking than with some of the peoples here, is the trading in the simulator, trading with the paper accounts. Those is, I think, is not gonna help you on the trading side itself. What is gonna help you with, and what my thinking is with the paper trading and all that stuff, is to be familiar with the platform itself, know how it works, know where your buttons are, know how it's built, know the execution speed and all that. That's all it is, nothing else. Because the reason why I don't think it works to don't be on the don't be on the market until you're profitable in the simulator or on the paper trading accounts or anything like that, because the concept as you trading with fake money, it's completely different. In reality, you can be profitable on paper accounts, but once you need to go live and play and trade with actual money, it's gonna be different when you put $5,000 on one trade and it moves against you. Your stomach is gonna feel it. Your mind is gonna play trick with you. And if you don't have a mental strength and an experience, what you already build it, if you trade on the account with a small size, you can build this concept. You can trigger your mind how it's supposed to work. But if you don't have experience on the market, paper trading is not gonna help you, because you can average down as far as you want, you can add to your trade as much as you want. Is not gonna trigger the same emotions in you as when you have your own money on the line and when your money actually working. And that's exactly the same thing, you know. That's why even profitable traders, right, people who make money, sometimes, you know, they jump out of too early. Well, that's really not true, because most of us, we stick to our plans, whatever it is. If you see my accounts, you know, I'm telling you guys every single day what's need to be done and how you guys doing it. But yeah, that's a very very important element in my thinking, how to start and how to do the beginning of your trading journey, because that is the most important thing. The education, the book education, not the fake guru education, the book education. So on your own, you know why you're doing what you're doing. Do not take trade alerts. Reason why is because any alerts, any recommendations you're gonna get is gonna be late. It has latency in everything. The moment somebody tell you buy here, by the time it's getting to your ear, by the time your mind is realize what you need to do, it's already seconds past. And sometimes on the scalping market, as the day traders most of the times do, it's already too late. It's already too late. And if your mind is already tricked with you, it's gonna be very difficult to get back from there. And just don't depend on anybody. Learn on your own. Don't follow wannabes, because again, most of these guys plans are never implemented on the market. And if you get just simple strategies, you can see it on your own. Crossovers, MACD crossovers, this crossover, that crossover, it doesn't work. Most of these indicators, 99% is comes when the derived data from the previous times back on the market. So by concept is lagging indicators, right? If you want to trade anything, again, I don't want to get into it, but these you need to learn. Trend line, support and resistance level, those gonna be there on your chart throughout the day, throughout your next couple of days, right? So if that's the case, that's a leading indicator to me, because it's on your account. It's gonna interact, the price action is gonna interact with that. So let's just summarize it again. Education, very very important. Computers, screens, internet service, very important. Don't give in to fake guru courses. 3 hours is not gonna give you any magic. You're not gonna be a millionaire the next day or 2 days after you took the course. Build your plan, follow your plan. Trade small, trade smart. Thank you for tuning in. If you like these episodes, leave a comment below what you want to hear next. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and turn on your notification so the videos get to you as soon as I upload them.